Prepare yourself for invasion. This is Indie Invasion.
What you looking for, Eric?
I honestly am blanking on where before we got on, guys. So I'm looking for my bandit bag with some stuff in it, and it disappeared on me. It was right over there like 2 weeks ago. Don't know what happened to it.
It
And
probably still is.
You know what's going to happen? As soon as we get done tonight, I'm going to be like, oh there it is.
I know. What's happening, Doug? Doug is with us, and the man, Ron. What's happening? Terrence says Broncos and Chiefs on Thursday night football may not get your full attention. That's all right. You can go watch football if you want, buddy. That's no worries. No worries. Not a problem. So, okay. So since Doug's here, Doug, I got a question for you. I was snooping around. I was hunting around over in the County Road Z Facebook group. And am I understanding the post there correctly that Black Site Studios going to do some minis for County Road Z? Is that something that, or did I just completely make that up in my head? Which is very, very possible that I could just make that up in my head. And so just gonna, oh, nice. Doing a licensed line for him. Very cool. That's awesome. So just in case anybody's wondering if my voice goes in and out, my daughter had a killer volleyball game after school today. So I was screaming my head off for an hour. We had some super, super close games. I don't think you call it overtime in volleyball, but you got to win by 2 points. So they just back and forth.
Yeah,
they were right there.
They call it. There's got to be some term for it because I kind of remember that.
I don't know enough about volleyball, and I like to think I'm one of the good parents. Like I don't sit up there and try to tell them what to do because, for starters, I know nothing about volleyball.
You just yell, "Hit the ball."
I just cheer for them. I'm like, "Good job." So because I don't. What am I going to tell them? I don't know anything. Hit the ball with the thing and over the stuff and your hands in the right way. I don't know.
Score the goal, the big
exactly.
touchdown.
Exactly. So I just cheer them on. But that's it was really good for them because they're a middle school volleyball team and they mostly have to play against junior varsity teams because there's not a lot of middle school volleyball teams. So they did good.
Yeah, that's actually good for them.
Yeah. Yes, Alan, I am short, but I am taller than you. Thank you very much.
Spike it.
Sir. And I'm still taller than my daughter. So, yep, they play to the death. That's hardcore. Yes, they maybe they will. I don't know. Maybe they'll play to the death. I'm not sure. So anyway, by the way, just a friendly tag or boost or whatever is Alan at Discover Games has been doing a little Monday Mumbles thing where he gives an update. If you guys want to go check that out and subscribe there. And of course, don't forget to check out all the updates that Black Site Studios always does. I'm sure everybody already knows about those anyway, but also County Road Z is doing like he does Q&As and sometimes just rules questions, and sometimes he does playthroughs. So check out County Road Z too. We've talked about it before. That's a great zombie game that really captured good horror. What's Terrence saying? Learn what a bump, a set, and a spike are. Anything struck with authority. Nice shot. They dive and get a hand under it. Nice save. I just scream and stomp on the bleachers to rattle them when they score points. I don't have to know all that stuff. I'm good, But thank you for the insight. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'd like to see you up in the stands with a clipboard and that stuff written on there. You'd be like,
Yeah, no, I'm just gonna stomp my feet and clap and yell until I can't talk anymore. So,
oh boy.
And Eric's all frustrated. Eric's having computer problems, can't find the stuff he needs for our
talk. See, I'm a little hoarse too from yelling at the computer, but
well,
yours was probably more fun.
I had a more positive experience with my yelling today. So, all right. Well, so tonight we're going to talk about something that's we've mentioned in passing before. I think we did this in a segment when we were just doing audio recordings about what do you do when your main game, or even if it's not your main game, but it's like one of your main games, stops being supported or produced? Now, of course, the pat answer is you just keep playing, right? Of course, we know that. But we want to delve a little bit deeper into that because there's a lot of nuanced things that happen when that happens in a game.
And I think we're all victims. I guess I don't want to say victims. That sounds negative.
You could say victims.
But this is all happened to us.
Sometimes you feel like a victim.
Yeah,
right?
You do. You do. You really do. And I think it's happened to all of us. And it's like, okay, what do you do? What have you done? I guess.
Right. But ultimately, on the front end, I want to say this, right? Just to cover everything. I'm not a worrying about offending person. That's not why I'm saying this. I'm saying this because ultimately, I don't care if anybody gets offended. That's not me. Oh, you were talking to Terrence. Rough subject. Yeah. Is this ultimately whoever ends up with the IP or the game, it's theirs, right? Mm-hmm. So they're free to do whatever they want with it. Whether that ultimately ends up being the greatest thing in the world that ever happens to you for your game, or if it's the worst thing in the world that happens to you for your game, it's ultimately them, and they're trying to make money, right? Because that's the only way you keep putting miniatures out. That's the only way you keep putting books out. That's the only way you keep doing it is you have to make money off of it. It reminds me of when War Cradle bought up a bunch of the games, and particularly when they got the Dystopian Wars stuff. And I remember some hostility, right, coming.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
Yeah, there was a lot of hostility from the community. But here's the thing, ultimately, that doesn't help, right?
It's not constructive at all.
Right, exactly. It's not constructive. If you want to be constructive, try and be part of the solution. They're always looking for people in those situations to do alpha testing, beta testing, all that kind of stuff. Get in there. Don't be a complainer. Get in there and try and make your voice heard in a good way. In a good way, not by whining and complaining and all that kind of stuff. Put Terrence's comment up there. That's
this is a good one.
Yeah.
So he's saying, well, I sent an email to the head of the company, got a defensive answer, and never spent another penny on the company's products.
And that's always our prerogative to do. But I'll tell you this, because it's almost intentional that I'm coming into this the way that I am, is those negative comments that were in the Dystopian Wars group. Terrence, you never would have gotten that sort of response from the company that bought them. They were much better men than me, because I wouldn't have handled the answers as well, or the hostility as well as they did. Like, they wanted to hear what everyone had to say. Mm-hmm. Now, ultimately, they were still going to make the decisions that they have to know.
Yeah.
Right. That they have to make, but they were at least willing to listen. When Ron say Babylon 5 was the main game, when Mongoose lost the license, it killed me. Kept playing, but it was hard, though 3D printing and ramping back up to play some more games as I can. Yeah. 3D printing has really changed this topic, because when we did this topic, when it was just audio, while 3D printing was out there, it was not as prevalent as it is now. Like, you weren't going on My Mini Factory or even Thingiverse and finding a million things. Okay, Eric, he says you know what game it was. Which one was it?
Well, I'm looking at some of it right next to me, Terrence. So just wait. Okay. Just you wait. I was actually hoping Todd would be on here, Todd R, because he was around. We were all old school Wild West Exodus players, from first to second. So we all saw that firsthand, that transition.
Yep.
And some of us kept going. Some of us said, well, I don't like where it's going. And that's, like you mentioned, that's everybody's prerogative. If they don't want to spend any more money, you could just keep playing the edition that you like. Shoot, there's people that still play, D&D second edition because that's
Red
the
box,
one they
baby.
like.
Red box.
Yeah, that's the one they like.
Yeah.
So, and there's nothing wrong with that. So
I know Eric has a game he wants to talk about, but since you started with Wild West Exodus, I want to start there. And the reason I wanted to start there, that's
another good one.
Point is, not faulting the business decision, but dragging the player base waiting for news and then shut it down. And again, but sometimes too, that falls into the category of, as much as we like to think that we know everything that's going on when they're transparent, you don't know the behind the scenes stuff. You know what I'm saying? I remember, I can remember a couple of games that family emergencies have happened when someone's trying to produce a game and the Kickstarter just falls apart. Not everybody's wired to be able to handle some sort of huge emergency, real life tragedy, trauma, whatever, and then still worry about their little plastic miniature men game. You know what I'm saying? So it's always kind of, you got to take it with a grain of salt and a whole lot of grace. But the reason I started the way I did with Wild West Exodus is because this is a good rule set. Okay. I'm probably way behind on what they've done for current stuff, but this is the War Cradle rule set. I know I'm way behind, right? I know I am because this is a good rule set, but I don't think that this is a good rule set for this game. Okay. I think it is a wonderful rule set. I think that there's a lot of really good stuff and a lot of really good play testing that went into that. And what I did is I did exactly what I was saying earlier. I went in, instead of complaining about it, I went in and was an alpha tester on the game. Look at you ripping open plastic. I was an alpha tester on the game so that I could see the direction that it was going and try and have some input. No, and I'm a nobody, so my input's not really that important. However, that's where I positioned myself for that. Besides, let's be honest, okay? Just full transparency here. Which one of these rule books looks better? Come on.
Is that the one that has our names in it?
This one?
Yeah.
I think it's this one that has.
That's why I like that one.
Yeah.
Hey, that's my name.
That's why I like that one. Yeah, this one has us in there. This one has a lot of the names from the original first edition. And there's some of these names that I still see pop up in the group. But ultimately, having said all of that, this is the version that I play even still, but I don't play it often. However, like Ron was alluding to, it's hard to get people to play because, of course, that's our go-to, right? Like, you discontinue my game, I don't care. You can't tell me how to play the rules in my basement. I live in a castle state. If you come in my house but not being invited to tell me the rules to play, there will be no dice rolling for what happens next if you just come in my house. But YouTube's probably going to edit that or something. They'll blur me out for a second. That's like the new thing. You can't even say die on it. Anyway, that's a total side note. But you can do whatever you want, but it is hard because how do you introduce someone to a game that you can't get?
That was one of the hardest things with second edition. So I kept going with second edition. I kind of was like, okay, I want to make this work. I want to be the champion for our area. And, I was running events every weekend, and that was the big obstacle. A lot of people were like, this is a cool game, but can I get it? Very limited, but it was hard to get. A lot of times stores in the US were getting old stock. So it was all stuff from first edition, maybe just repackaged, or, you know, just the models themselves. They still would have to go get rules and print the cards out and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
what's Alan saying here? Guild Ball. He's talking about Guild Ball.
Yeah. Yeah, and yeah, same thing. And you know what? I love a bunch of the Guild Ball minis. I've incorporated so many of them into yes, Twisted, of course, because they just fit. And Alan, more first edition Wild West Exodus in the last couple of years than the newer versions. Yeah, I mean, and for me, I just prefer it. That's what I play. But again, now I've got somebody. Alan's usually the one that I end up playing in Wild West Exodus when he comes up here.
Yeah.
Like, what do you want to play? Let's play some Wild West Exodus first edition. So that's probably what he's referring to there. Tracy, she came in just in time to hear the castle.
Just in time, Tracy.
Yeah, well, what can I say? What can I say? And yeah, Terrence makes a good point too. You can only work so hard to make someone else's products successful.
Yeah, if they're not supporting you, supporting them, it gets really difficult. And I think that's kind of eventually what happened.
Yeah. Well, and I want to say something about that too, about the supporting is that I'm not an advocate of send me free stuff. I mean, if the company wants to, that's cool. But I do think that what benefits a company of folks that are making super active efforts to be helpful is just a recognition of that. And I'm not talking about free stuff. I'm just talking about maybe you, I don't know, spotlight one of their minis or tables on the Facebook page or on
a shout out, basically.
Yeah, basically a shout out, because that really goes a long way. Because what did we just say? I held this book up, and what were the first words out of your mouth? Like, my name's in that book. And I do free, right? I do free editing for Antimatter Games. Do you know why I do their editing for free? Because he puts my name in the book.
Yeah, you want to open that book and say,
that's exactly right. That is 100% right. That's exactly why.
Hey, look, our buddy's here.
Hey, it's Isaiah.
What's up,
Isaiah,
man?
what's happening, buddy? I love Isaiah's channel. He has great stuff.
So Ron's talking about Pulp City is another one that dropped off, but is ramping back up as it's changed hands.
Yeah,
I guess.
Actually, we have an interview from way back, right when it was changing hands, and there was new stuff coming out. That's when I ended up buying my copy of Pulp City, and I know Tonio plays a bunch of Pulp City. He posts all kinds of cool pictures out there. Let's see. Terrence is on tonight, man. Not about free stuff, about creating opportunities for players to find each other and for players to find you. But yeah, absolutely. That's such a huge thing. I've created, like, I've done a lot of things for smaller games where I'll create new game coming out, Kickstarter. I'll create a Discord, or I'll create a Facebook group for them, or something along those lines. Like the Drowned Earth, I did that. Core Space, I'm the one that created that Facebook group. And there's a bunch of other games that I've done that for. I did the Discord for Twilight and handed that off to Mike, because I wasn't doing anything with it, and he got really active on it. But it's I'm happy to do that, because it does exactly that, what Terrence is saying. It spreads the word. It gets spots where people can connect. Oldest kid's names in the Hametsu book, one of the first ever play testers. See, that's cool. When you're a gamer, man, I'm sorry. Maybe I'm just too geek for this, but I just love it. I'm like, hey, check out this book. It's like, why are you on the front page? Aren't we looking up a rule? Yeah. But let's just look here at the playtesters. What does this say? Oh, look, there's my name. I didn't even know that was in there. You know what I'm saying? What Alan's saying, just started a Dystopian Wars League, 10 people playing, great support for the game, monthly new products. That's great. That's one of those things too, though, that I think Terrence was alluding to. This is like everything, because I know that War Cradle's doing a bunch of stuff with Dystopian Wars, but it's like Wild West Exodus. That's not even on the back burner anymore. It's not even on the stove.
This was kind of the last hurrah. They did a third edition rules, which was supposed to be the all all-in-one type of thing. I think they were planning for future stuff with this, so they kind of wanted to change things that it would be easier to apply to Lost World when it came out.
Right.
And yeah, this was what, a year ago, 2 years?
I
can't
know.
remember.
I don't know because I didn't pick it up. I've been picking up new models because I
love the models, but
yeah.
I was showing some of the sprues off. I didn't even do anything, and a lot of that's motivation.
Yeah.
Who am I going to play it with?
Yeah, exactly. And now I'm not trying to bust War Cradle's chops by any means. I love those guys. I've talked to a bunch of them. I've met some of them. And I think that they're doing a great job with Dystopian Wars. But to extend a little grace to them, that game, Wild West Exodus, was the first one that they started like really making a push in the direction of taking games. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, they may have been dabbling in some other stuff before that, but that was the first big one that they took on. And it all was COVID was happening. And there were a lot of factors that contributed that were outside of their control. First shot at doing it, COVID hits and just, upends everything. The thing is, I have nothing bad to say about those guys. Again, like I said, these are good rules.
Yeah,
I just don't think they're good rules for Wild West Exodus, but that's just my opinion. This is funny too. Tracy said, daughter's almost 12. Super excited. She got an autographed copy. Nice.
That's funny.
Man, I got an autographed copy. Wait, that's not true. I have an autographed copy from Mike, and I have a Yafsiga autographed copy too, but it's at Eric's house.
I'm going to hand deliver that in November. Oh, man.
This is true. Terrence says Blood Bowl. The player base abandoned and kept playing. I don't think that there's anything GW could do to stop Blood Bowl.
Yeah, I know. That's kind of like a runaway train at this point, right?
It kind of always has been. It's good.
Yeah.
Yes, Alan. My book is still at Eric's.
I'm waiting for him to come get it.
Oh, is that what it is? Well, that won't be till like January.
Oh man.
I gotta wait till the boy graduates from boot camp, man.
Okay.
Okay. So, but that's kind of the take on that. But like I said, I still play, but there's definitely a level of disappointment because you see the new models and you're like, man, those things are super cool.
Yeah.
But not everybody's willing to sit down and try to play test it and figure out how it's going to work in the old set of rules. So you get this sort of, this is so awesome, but you can't really use it as anything in the game.
Yeah, it kind of just, that's as far as it goes, is that house rules, level. And a lot of times these games, they stop being supported and the players keep them going for a long time. And sometimes things come from that. I know some of the Star Wars card games, people kept them going because they liked a certain edition and they started making fan ones. And I think eventually it kind of came around where the companies that would buy the property be like, they were fans of the original too, and they see what the community's doing. Right. So they take notice and kind of work it into maybe a new edition type of thing. So,
well, it's like Mordheim, right? I mean, Mordheim has been gone for forever, 20 plus years. But if you go to, there's a couple of different websites where the community has kept it alive. That's just loaded with massive, massive, massive amounts of stuff. Meet up at Adepticon.
Just play all these discontinued games, right, Terrence?
That's right. That's right. We'll be the old dusty corner. They'll call it the dusty corner, the games that no one supports anymore. Nothing to buy over here. Nothing to buy. Just stay over there.
Hard to stick with old rules and even harder to relearn new ones. Too much.
Yeah.
Wait, how does that work out?
Yeah. There's no doubt. I've got some homebrew stuff I'm working on just to play my games. I've got a couple people that I play with regularly. That are, they're okay for that kind of stuff. We just play around because we just play to have fun. We play to see what happens.
And I think that's an important thing to keep in focus. I haven't brought this up yet, Terrence, so prepare yourself. But this was one that I met Terrence playing. So this was way back 2012, I think, is when we used to play this by Privateer Press, and a lot of the community kept this one going. And it was one of those things that's important. It's like we were having fun with it. You know, we were doing our little tournaments and our little mini cons and stuff like that. And then, you know, it kind of disappeared. And some of us played it for a little bit longer. Too bad he's not here, Spaz, because I think Spaz was a champion. He hasn't stopped since. And
he got all the new stuff too.
Yeah, and then, you know, so they made this new stuff, which it's pretty much essentially the same. They kind of simplified a little bit of it to kind of clean it up, you know, from the old days where you had all the stats on the little bases. But yeah, I mean, it's like some of the community went away, but there's some real diehards that kept it alive, and now it came back again, but it's kind of in limbo again. I don't know what's going on. So, what's Elton saying here?
Said fan-supported versions keep games alive.
Yeah.
Even if they're not the best versions, it's cool that they're keeping them alive. Warhammer Fantasy, Guild Ball Community Project, Warhammer Armies.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, and that's true. It's like, well, like I mentioned, Mordheim or even first edition Necromunda, both of those are out there. There's a specialty games website called Yak Tribe, and it's got
there's a ton on there, right?
Oh yeah, it's got Gorka Morka. It's got it's got, if it was a specialist game, it's on there. Just
sorry, Terrence. Well, here, Terrence will like this because I got this from him when he was like, "I'm done with it. Get this out of my face." So,
then you broke it,
and then I broke. Well, it wasn't glued. It's this thing weighs pretty much. It's heavy. It's a metal version of one of the miniatures from
is it Mecha Godzilla?
Yeah, it's like a Mecha Godzilla, basically.
Yeah. So I mean, really, what it boils down to is you play what you want.
Have fun with it, right? Just have fun with it.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a lot of games that are coming out now that even if they were to go away, nothing would change. And what I mean by that is so much stuff is available, like on Drive-Thru RPG.
Mm-hmm.
So someone can still get the book. It's like technically out of print, but I mean, there's so much stuff on Drive-Thru RPG. You know, it makes me think of a game, since I brought it up earlier, like County Road Z, right? All you need is the book. That's it. All you need is the book. You don't need anything else. And now he's still coming out with stuff, but you know, you don't need anything else. So it is hard to do that. And I know it's tough. And I know there's a lot of bitterness out there for games that have been upended or changed or bought out or what have you. I'd be interested in lists of games. Like if you guys want to post stuff on the Facebook page or in the Discord about what games you've had that experience with. I really, well, you know, the thing is, I haven't really had it with much. I played Guild Ball a little bit, but wasn't in it. Yeah. Never played Monster Apocalypse. I used to play Warhammer Fantasy, but I got out of that way before it went away.
Okay.
I got out of Necromunda First Edition way before it went away. Same thing with Mordheim, Gorka Morka, all of those games. I got out of them before they.
Wild West Exodus, the only one maybe
that's really the only one that has been upended on me. Uh-oh.
I'm counting. I think I'm about 4. So, and it's one of those things that when it goes away and the player base goes away, what do you do? Well, either you can keep going or what I did a lot of times is I did that hunt, that search for the next, you know, community-esque game.
And there can be advantages too. I mean, if you want to pick up stuff, one of two things happen, right? It all either becomes dirt cheap or people think their miniatures are made of gold.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So there's one of two ways. You can load up on a bunch of stuff. Like I remember, so when the rule set was changing and the new rule book was coming out for Wild West Exodus, I picked up probably 4 of these hardcovers.
Oh yeah.
For, you know,
next to nothing.
I think I got one of them. I think I got one of them for $6.
I see these at Noble Knight and even the newer edition. Now, granted, the newer edition is more model-esque. You have to put the minis together instead of the blind boosters that they used to be. But you can find this original stuff for real cheap. And I think the newer one, you can get the rules offline. And then these old ones, you can find them for real cheap and just put them on a different base.
And I mean, and you can do just like Terrence is saying here with the Snarling Badger games, right? Like Rain in Hell and Space Station Zero. That makes me think of, now those are miniature agnostic, obviously, but it makes me think too of games where it's kind of the person's it's their dream, right? It doesn't matter what happens financially with it. None of that matters. They're just doing it. And I think of games like Twilight, Burrows and Badgers, Urban Manhunt. Those games, those are labors of love, right? They're not going anywhere because the people that have created those games they're creating them whether they're going to print them or not.
Yeah, it's kind of like their hobby is to produce the game. They're not hung up. They're not, they want to make some money. They want to break even and stuff, but the game creation is as much of the hobby for them as buying miniatures and painting them for us. So,
and then there's those games that are right in the middle that are almost making money, and they're right there in the middle. And it's just, how many times have we said it? We live in the golden age of gaming.
Yeah, really do.
There's just so many games out there.
Yeah, that's the thing. There's so many games out there. You can probably just move to the next one and have just as much fun. And if you feel nostalgic, well, let's go revisit that older edition. So
there you go. Tonio threw up a list.
Oh boy, here we go.
Guild Ball, Fantasy, War Master, Nemesis, Relic Knights, Fantasy Tactics. He says he needs to stop looking at his display cases. Clearly, he leaned back in his chair and looked over and went, "Yep, all those games right there," because Tonio belongs here. That's why he belongs here with us.
That's funny.
But yeah, that's kind of my take on it. I love Wild West Exodus. There's no two ways about it. Right?
I think with after Wild West Exodus, when I started doing my shift to the independent, well, thanks to a little bit of shoving from you, and it's where I kind of was introduced to, there's a lot of these independent games out here that are agnostic, and they're more free form, where they're not gonna go away right away. They're not dependent on release after release, after release. So, I think if I was going to say, what do you do to anyway, look at the independents, because they're just, they're like you said, labors of love.
Yep. Yeah, they really are. And for the most part, so many of us have so many miniatures anyway, that like Terrence said, the mini agnostic games are really, honestly, sometimes it's kind of fun to go through your minis, all the different games that you have to do something.
Yeah.
To build a squad of space dudes to play 5 parsecs or Space Station Zero, to do any of those things, to play Rangers of Shadow Deep or Relic Blade, whatever it is, you know what I mean? So there's just so much stuff out there that
you can't get hung up on one game.
Yeah, it's gonna happen.
Yeah,
it's gonna happen. Sadly, it's gonna happen. Sadly, so, and that makes me happy. Sad. I don't know what it makes me. I want my game that I love to go on forever, right?
You do, yeah, but it's exciting to find something new, that discovery of something new. And like you said, those games that you can bring your minis in, there's your nostalgia right there. Like, I'll bring in my Wild West Exodus into Twisted.
There you go. I already have, though, but thanks for the suggestion. Isaiah says, once you hit critical mass of models, you can pick rules for the stuff you already have.
Yep.
Well, I'm going to need a little clearer explanation on what critical mass for models is, because I have a problem. I know we all have a problem. Okay. I'm fully aware that we all have a problem.
Yeah, you still have lots of room back there. I see lots of room.
All my miniatures are over on this wall over here. Mostly. I have special display cabinets for the games that I really play. So Twisted's over there. I got some stuff over here. Drowned Earth is over here, So
Anyway, well, I think this was just one of those shows for us tonight, guys, that was just something to make you think. And hopefully we made you guys feel a little bit better about games that you loved kind of being unsupported and discontinued, or just kind of living in limbo. You can always revisit them. Once you buy them, they're yours.
Yep, you can. Okay, so real quick for Terrence, I can't speak for Eric, and Isaiah's already commented too, but absolutely, Relic Blade is a fantastic quick play, simple rules, but still has some depth to it. Like, it's not simplistic. It's simple.
Was it 3x3 or 2x2?
2x2. So it's a small footprint,
30-minute game, probably.
Great minis. I mean, you can if you have a full afternoon into an evening, like a Saturday afternoon into an evening, you and your buddies could easily do a whole Relic Blade campaign just in that time.
Alan wants to know what
dead game are we playing at Mythic Con? I don't know. Depends on what you bring, man. Simple to learn, deep to master. Yeah, it's a fun game. The minis are cool. It's got great support because it's another one of those that's a labor of love kind of thing. So
very cool miniatures.
I'm actually really intrigued by, and for anybody that's played it, I know we're going over, but whatever. It's the fastest 30-ish minutes in wargaming. Ish. There's an ish on there. Is the Pit Lord and the Demon Ship. And I tell you what intrigues me about those is the footprint. Right? It's almost like remember the old car versions of like Connect 4 and Backgammon and everything?
Yeah.
That's what it reminds me of. It's simple to take along with you wherever you go.
Somewhere.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Because I also saw Raul posted a picture in the Coastal Con group that he played a game of Demon Ship the other day. But that one doesn't intrigue me quite as much as the Pit Lord one does.
You like the fantasy-esque?
Yeah. So I'm very intrigued by that one. I'm seriously considering looking into that one and getting like the whole shebang, the little kit, just like that. The way you're holding that right there says everything about it. Because you just stick everything in it, right?
Yeah, put everything in here that you would need. And all right, let's go.
Yeah,
let's go play at the coffee shop.
Yeah, that's what I think is cool about it. It's kind of like Todd R has been doing with Zinvaded, right? Every time him and his wife go out to lunch, they play a game of Zinvaded on the table.
You don't need 8 tubs of terrain and minis, and just need a little box.
Yeah, you need the little that, and so that's intriguing to me. Oh, well, cool. I didn't know you helped out with Demon Ship, Terrence. That's cool. Did you get your name in the book? That matters. You got to get your name in the book, buddy.
Yeah, and a lot of that was key. Make sure you guys check out like the Discord, these companies' Discord. Black Site Studios is great for that. You can get into the, they got a little section for development and playtesting and stuff like that. And yeah, that's a good way to make your mark a little bit.
All those Discords. If there's one Discord that you join this month, you should join the Twilight Chronicles of Anural one, because this is Inktober, Mike is an awesome artist, and every October daily he does a picture. At 99% of the time it's all about Twilight. Yeah. And they're just
and it usually shows up sometime sooner or later as a mini
Kickstarter. Exactly.
In a Kickstarter.
So you just, I don't know why I'm plugging Twilight all of a sudden, except that I love the concept in the game. But there you go. Rusty Dagger, another great pocket game.
Write that one down.
I'll have to check that one out. So.
Yeah.
All right, sir.
All right, my turn, right?
It's your job to
Mr. Horse. Okay, let me take
a sip. I'm a little bit. Yeah.
That whistle.
Yeah, I know, man. It was good, man. I'm telling you, it was a good volleyball game. I told my daughter, though, I said, don't do that again. I can't handle that kind of stress 2 games in a row, man. I was, so.
Well, guys, thanks for joining us again this Thursday for a 30-minute show. Please follow, like, subscribe, smash that button at all the places. You can join us every Thursday where we do our live stream on some kind of topic in the gaming world like tonight. And, sometimes end of the month, we do our little hobby hangouts, but you can find all our audio podcast at Podbean and all the other podcast places to listen to. And make sure you check us out on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Discord. Drop us a line at indieinvasion@gmail.com. And check us out on Discord. It's our community. Everybody's posting pictures, helping each other out. We go through spurts, it seems like, when people finish up projects, all of a sudden there's like boom, 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 all these painted pictures. So
yeah, we've had lots of Drowned Earth stuff hitting lately, which is awesome.
If you guys would like to support us, you can check out Redbubble/people/Indie Invasion. Get yourself some merch, whether you want a hat, a coffee mug, some stickers, a hoodie. It's starting to get a little chilly up here in the north, or if
shower
you want a t-shirt. I think Todd R has like every t-shirt we've produced.
I think he does too.
In every color.
And wears them to every convention in Texas.
Every con. So
he goes to.
We appreciate that support. And if you guys want any of that kind of cool merch, check that out over there. But that's all we have with you till next weekend. We're getting a little bit closer to Halloween. So until then, you guys prepare yourself for the invasion.